just pay. I'll just pay. I'm like, I don't want to have to go to court. I have anxiety.
I'm being sued by a credit card company, but I've been trying so hard to get ahead, and every time something happens, it's just like this. Like, I'm never gonna be okay.
Next thing I knew, I was signing papers to come back to contest.
Who would have thought that credit cards are suing people now for an old debt? That's never happened before, to me, at least.
You know them phone calls you keep ignoring from the credit card company? They not playing with you no more. They went from call me back to see you in court. Oh yeah, you didn't know that credit card companies can sue you? Well, sometimes seeing is believing. So focus your attention on Exhibit A.
If you want to hear something really totally embarrassing for me, I was supposed to have a court date today. Yeah, I ignored a debt collector and they sent it to a law firm to sue me. And yeah, I got sued by a debt collector. And I thought the chances of that happening were like slim to none. Like, it was only $1,000. Do they really want to like have to go after me for $1,000? Like, what is that? No, they did. Yeah, they sent the constable to my house with the papers saying that I need to sort this out. Long story short, I settled for 80% of what I owe, and I paid it all off like 12 days ago. Thankfully, like normally I would not have been able to do this, but my husband got a raise at work and it's been great. And yeah, my court date was scheduled for today. Thankfully, that was canceled. That was like the scariest thing I've ever had to do in my life. I was like, I don't just pay. I'll just pay. I'm like, I don't want to have to go to court. I have anxiety.
You want to know what? It wasn't the fact that this was going to affect her credit. She said, I ain't worried about that credit. She said, courtroom anxiety, whatever you want. And I'm glad she was able to hash it out. But I needed to show you guys that this is serious. So many people have this idea. If it's a small amount of money, why would they take me to court? Don't they have bigger fish to fry? Now let's just think about it, y'all. Millions of people owing you $1,000. Small to them, big for you and your company. Wouldn't you want your money? And I know a lot of y'all don't want to think about it like this, but they're not giving you money on a credit card out the kindness of their heart. Part of the business plan is that you don't pay your stuff off on time. And because of that, they're able to get interest off of you. But they need to keep you in the loop of constantly paying interest every month and not really paying off that principal balance. See, that's how they get y'all. But if you're not even doing that, they're like, wait a minute, we're not getting the interest payment because you're not paying anything, and now you in court. This comment here confirms it. I got sued by Discover Bank, Credit One Bank, and Capital One Bank. Girl, you wanna roll? Slow down. All were $1,000 to $2,000. I also thought it wouldn't happen. Now I'm in a payment plan with each. And they go on to say, I actually called the attorney's office listed on the lawsuit and set it up with them. At least they were being proactive, right? But there's a better way to go about this, y'all. If you have a credit card, please pay them people. And this, I'm only reading this comment right here because this is ironic. Somebody here is saying, Synchrony Bank tried that with me. And they reply, like, wow, they're so broke. They're coming after little old me? How do y'all tell the business that they're broke when you getting sued for not paying somebody money? The irony.
I'm being sued by a credit card company for $5,000 for not paying the bill. You know how you don't know what you don't know?
Right.
Well, I learned this the hard way. I got into a lot of debt being a single mom in nursing school. Like, I really racked my credit cards up surviving, you know? And then when I started making money, I tried really hard to pay them off, but it just like, I was drowning in it. I just like had a really hard time getting out of it. I tried to get a loan and I couldn't get approved for one, so I ended up consolidating all my debt. You know, like I did research it. Like I understood I was gonna ruin my credit. I knew that it was gonna be bad, but I had just gotten a new car. I had my place. Like it was fine. Like I could handle this for a couple years and just have bad credit for a while and then build it back up. And this is my fault for not understanding, but I just didn't know. Like you have to stop paying on the bills because they won't settle your credit card bills unless there's like, you're behind on them and there's a need for it. So you just stop paying on them, which felt wrong, but it's what I did. But one of the ones that I owed like $5,000 on, which was my biggest one, that was the only one that they like didn't shut down, and it just like kept growing and growing and growing. And I was like, what the f do I do? And they were like, just keep paying us and like we'll get it settled. And then today as I'm sitting in my car, I get served, and like I just didn't even know that this was an option. The credit card company's suing me for the $5,000, but I've also been paying the $5,000 off from the other company. So of course I called them and I spent all morning on the phone with these people, and they're just like, well, all we can do is extend your payments out because obviously they have to make a profit, right? So if it's settled for the amount that it's settled for, then they're not making a profit. So they want mass amounts more money in order to settle this now. But I'm also at the same time being sued and have to go to court over this. And they're now telling me like, oh, well, you won't have to go to court if you just extend your payments to us. But like, that doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know. I can't afford a fucking lawyer. I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. And it's just one of those things that feels like I tried so hard. Like I got myself through nursing school as a single mom and it was really hard. And I've been trying so hard to get ahead, and every time something happens, it's just like this. Like I'm never gonna be okay.
I don't care how hard your life is right now. Please, y'all, don't speak word curses over yourself. There is power in the tongue. Everything you say, you could be speaking death. And the words I'm seeing on the screen, girl, I need you to rebuke that. It will be okay. Everything will be okay. You might have fell right now, but you can get back up.
I'm just really tired.
You know what's interesting? In the comments, they are telling this lady she need to go ahead and file bankruptcy. So many comments. Bankruptcy, bankruptcy, bankruptcy. She's even shocked. And she says she's not filing bankruptcy for over $5,000. And honestly, we also have to use the context of what she was saying. She says she's a nurse. And I honestly feel like this is a moment where things are all up against her right now. She may have student loans or something like that. I'm not sure. She might have other debt, but she might be able to make a good amount of money being a nurse with overtime and stuff like that. Especially if she's like a traveling nurse. Some of them be making bank. And I feel like she might be hesitant to file bankruptcy because she might be able to work to get the $5,000, y'all. Just because you're in a tough spot doesn't automatically mean you need to file bankruptcy. It's like, for some people, that's the first thing they think, oh, I racked up some credit card debt. I might have to work overtime or actually budget my money in order to pay it back. I don't want to do that. Just file bankruptcy. And it's like, everybody doesn't want to deal with the effects of bankruptcy. And don't get me wrong, for some people, that might be the best option. But I also see nothing wrong with it if you have a plan to try to pay it off yourself.
So this debt, this credit card was probably from 7 years ago. Okay.
The credit card company don't care if it was 2 weeks, 20 years. They don't care if you had a baby, being totally honest.
The payments were really high. They gave me a really high line of credit when I was really young. I was dumb. I completely accept the responsibility. So the payments got too much. They were like $400 a month. I couldn't afford it, along with my other credit card payments. So I did a debt resolution program, like a debt relief program. And Discover was like the only one that was unwilling to settle more than like taking off $1,000 off the total amount due. So my monthly payment for all my credit cards was $267. With what Discover was offering, it would have been like over $300 or over $400 a month. And I was like, I can't do that. So I was like, take them off the program. And then I paid off all my other credit cards and was good. So they sued me. I got served and I was stupid and answered the door. Don't do that. I wouldn't recommend it.
Girl, they are literally looking for you to give you your little packet, say you've been served. They will show up at your job if they know where you work. They'll show up wherever they can. Didn't like Sam Altman from OpenAI just get served on live television or something like that recently? I don't know. I think it was him. Anyway, point is, they don't care. And in the meantime, all you're really doing is racking up more charges or more interest that you're going to need to try to negotiate when you get to court. She talking about some don't open the door. What about if you got Amazon coming? So what if there's an emergency? You just going to hide from everybody coming to the door? Can you imagine that level of paranoia trying to duck somebody because you have credit cards that you ain't paid?
I got the papers and I responded. That's the most important thing, respond. Because they're hoping that you're just going to be freaked out and not respond. You can look up the paperwork online. It's super easy. You can like print it out. It's super easy. You can explain why you can't pay them or whatever it is. I said it'd be extreme financial hardship because I'm the sole provider of my family. So I responded and they set a mediation date. I did the mediation and it was so stupid. It was over Zoom just with like the judge and the lawyer for the company. Or Discover, or the collection company. I don't really know who owned it, but at the time I was talking to my dad and he offered me $3,000 to pay them. I offered them that plus $50 a month. They're like, no, we can take $7,000 off the top and then $50 a month on top of that. And I was like, well, I can't afford that. They're like, well, can you borrow some money from someone else? And I'm like, no, if I did, then I would give you the money.
And here on the screen, it says, a credit card company from 10 years ago just sued me. I offered them what I could pay each month, and they weren't happy. So I asked the judge to issue a judgment against me, which she did. Now they're going to garnish the wages. I barely have, but I'll stay positive because things always work out. And positive she is, because she is dancing with, what girl, is that a cup of peanut butter? I can't confirm nor deny. And I need to know something. Why is everybody getting sued by Discover? Discover ain't playing with y'all, obviously. And the reason I'm saying that is because this comment says, is it Discover? Because they trying to do that to me. Oh, we in the same boat, but it's capital M for this person. And this is an interesting comment right here because she was talking about dodging the folks that was trying to serve her. It says, I avoided mine, dodged being served, and never paid. I never once contacted them throughout that time. Wait out the statute of limitations. Y'all are really doing research to try to dodge people. This is interesting. And then they say, I have since reapplied and now I have amazing credit. Well, good for you. And for some of y'all, it's going to be like this. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. They're going to find you and take it slowly in court, in the court of law.
So now I'm a Mills Plus. I've got to fax some paperwork to the magistrate court because a certain someone had me take out a bunch of credit cards, promised to pay them. My credit score was like at a 700, and now it's like, I believe, at a 400 and something, maybe. But so yeah, someone's trying to sue me, so I have to go to court. So here we are, Mills Plus. Let's get this.
Wait a minute. She said she took out credit card debt. It sounded like for her boyfriend? For her man? Ma'am. And y'all had an agreement that that person was supposed to pay you back, and they ran off on the plug twice? Y'all, please don't do that. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine getting sued by a credit card company? And you had the great credit. You let somebody into your life convince you to run up and mess up your good credit? What was they buying anyway? Why did they need your help? Well, I already know why. They probably didn't have good credit. That ain't the point. That is dangerous, y'all. Now you're left holding the bag, or actually you ain't holding no bag because you getting sued. The bank want their bag. And if you get sued, you had the agreement with the credit card company, not the other person you was trying to look out for and help. I kind of feel bad for her on that one. I need some more information. She said, only if I knew what I knew now. If there's any young adults watching this, please stay away. Please stay far away from credit card debt, which I agree with, but why is the comment saying, girl, you got to get rid of that man? Who is this? He's a good credit destroyer. Oh no. What is this?
We purchased an already existing business from someone. Unfortunately, there's a number of factors that were in play, but we were misled, we were lied to, deceived, and we inherited somebody else's financial burden, and essentially we worked for free and into the hole for the following year. Our overhead was way too high, rent was way too high, costs were way too high, and the business was too slow. Even with all the work I did, I just couldn't keep up. We unfortunately didn't make a profit. The only month that we broke even was like a grueling month. That business has been closed. We liquidated everything we could in the gym that we owned and sold off a lot of the equipment with a fraction of what it was paid for, like bought at. Like sickening how much we lost on everything. But
They put it on a credit card? It sounds like she was investing or partnering up with a business and put the stuff on a credit card, and it already was probably going downhill. Oh no. And the gym equipment is high because it says here she's being sued by Discover Card. Oh my. Discover is on a roll. They don't play. Clearly.
we had no means to pay off the card, so there was no sense in making payments. We just let them close themselves, and we're planning to settle the debt for less than what we owe so that we can get it over with. I had owed Discover Card just under $10,000, and we agreed outside of court to settle for $7,000. Anyways, that's one of the many cards that we have that are currently maxed out and closed. My husband was actually also sued by Discover Card for his Discover Card, and he goes to court next month for that.
Whoa.
We're hoping to do the same and settle his as well for less than what we owe so that we don't have to pay the full amount.
You and your husband are getting sued. 2 separate suing occasions by Discover. Discover don't play because they sued the business and then personally sued the husband. Oh my God. If this don't show y'all that they don't play, especially Discover, allegedly, I don't know what will. They even got smoke for the business owners.
I am a very, I have to see it to know it kind of person. You know what I mean? I'm just a very busy person in general. So if I am not getting my mail, I do not know what is going on. There were 2 credit cards that I forgot to change my address on. Somehow I had missed statements before I forwarded my mail. But I got so behind. They must have not paid my bill for like months. I don't know. It's embarrassing, honestly. I pay my bills. I pay my bills. My bills are paid.
Look, how if you getting sued? My other thing is, do y'all not put these things in the budget? And trust me, I understand a lot of things are automated, paperless, you pay online, electric, got it. But this is also why a budget is a good thing, because if you actually look line by line of what is coming out of your bank account, or what should be coming out of your bank account, it'd be a lot less likely that you'll miss something like your credit card payments. You see what I mean? Also, if you owe money, that should be something that you are factoring into your budget if you're serious about paying it off. If you are waiting till the piece of paper come in the mail, you're probably not operating within a budget, which is also very dangerous for a lot of people. Because as you can see in this situation, many people forget. And it's understandable, but a line-by-line budget will hold you accountable and also remind you what responsibilities you have every month of paying.
But these two, I didn't. I sure did. The next piece of mail that I received was a court summons. I was like, oh my God, is it like Judge Judy? I ain't never been to court. I was like, I'm gonna have to like get in front of this judge and be like, man, I am so sorry. I just don't know. I don't even know what I was thinking, you know? But in reality, it wasn't like that at all. So the first time that I went, the lawyer handed me this paper to fill out. And I was like, yeah, I just want like a payment plan, you know, like, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, actually, I think that interest rate is wrong. Do you agree with the interest rate and the total? And I was like, I mean, yeah, probably. And she's like, I think that interest rate's a little high. And I was, yeah, you're right. It is a little high. Next thing I knew, I was signing papers to come back to contest. So here I am, regretting that. 7:48 in the morning. I'm supposed to be there in 12 minutes. At this point, I don't even care. It's so embarrassing.
You know, this might be one of those situations where you have to laugh so you don't cry, but she did say this was her second one. So I'm like, budget might be a very good option for somebody like this. And I know a lot of y'all think y'all want to go to court and be like, I'm sorry. Just like she was saying, like, oh, I'm sorry. They still want their money. And I need y'all to remember that when y'all are swiping these credit cards, that's what it is. Just think about it like this is hours that you actually have to work at your job. This is not free money. I know a lot of y'all think it is. You get these applications in the mail for credit cards and you're like, yeah, they send it. They sending me a card. They trying to help me out. No, read the fine print, read the interest rates, because the interest rates is what hurts a lot of people when they're trying to pay off the credit card. You looking at I got money to go out to eat. No, you don't. The money you got comes from you working your job. So you either need to work harder or you need to make more money, because that credit card is not your money. That's money you owe to somebody else. And you have to go to work to get that money. Discover don't like none of y'all that much.
So I'm being sued by BOA for 2 credit cards that I stopped paying about 2 years ago. And it was around the time that I was unemployed and kind of prioritizing other bills. And I was in the process of maybe trying to figure out what it is that I was going to do. However, they got to me before I could get to them. And that's perfectly fine because I've been thinking about working on my credit and rebuilding my credit to begin with. However, with this lawsuit, it makes things a little bit more difficult just because of the fact that it's giving me a deadline. The lawsuit or the court date is January 8th. So I do have to figure out what it is that I'm going to do to rebuild my credit by January 8th. And to start with, the first thing that I did was call a civil attorney. And the civil attorney that I actually spoke to was actually a bankruptcy attorney as well.
And I already know where this is finna go. People already in the comments talking about file that bankruptcy. Just file the Chapter 7. Here's one I agree with. Stay far away from credit repair companies. They're a scam. Now, I'm not gonna say all of them are a scam. This is just how I personally feel. I feel you would be better doing the things that we all know actually help repair your credit, which is paying the credit card companies back, making a payment plan, and in some cases, people filing bankruptcy is one of those steps that they take. When people start talking about the credit repair companies, I'm gonna remove this off your credit score, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it ain't this ain't popping up, that ain't popping up. If you don't get on, like, that's how I really feel.
Take this as your sign, especially if you are like young as don't get that credit card. So with a lawsuit to partake on myself, but I recently got into the National Debt Relief Program and I've been doing that, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. But this is your sign. Don't get that pinche credit card, bro. Don't get it. You don't need it. Just make your money and use your day-to-day money. You don't need that credit card. I do not need this credit card. Yes, it did pay for a little bit of my school and then my like school kit thing that I had to buy. But other than that, it's just been collecting interest. I haven't been able to pay because I've been unemployed. And now that I am employed, I decided to get on this national debt relief thing. But yeah, don't get that credit card, bro. You don't need it. Don't get that.
And it's sad to see so many people, trying to play catch up. And I actually get a lot of people are using credit cards out of pure survival. But for non-necessities, y'all, clothes, shoes, going out to eat, going on vacations, spending money on whatever it is that you like to collect that don't nobody else know about, put the cards down if you're not going to pay it back, because they are going to fine you. You're going to get sued. They don't care how young you are. Like, this is a young woman that's saying this. And if you have a job and you're able to actually save money, save some money, y'all. Build an emergency fund. And I know, looking around, that's a blessing to be able to do. If you can do that, stop treating your credit card like it's the emergency fund and actually save the money you get from the job that you're blessed to have. Because some of y'all can do it. You just ain't trying.
Get ready with me as I get ready for a court case, as I'm getting sued by Credit One Banking from a credit card I opened up when I was 20 years old.
I don't care.
I opened up this credit card mostly to help fund me in college. The limit was only $350, but unfortunately, I broke my shoulder the same year. I have a huge scar, and I couldn't pay back. It then went to collections, and furthermost, I just thought that later on I would maybe pay it back in life. Maybe, I don't know. I would pay it back, but just not now. And then
And you know what? If you don't plan to do something, this is typically how it goes. It doesn't happen. And I'm not saying that to be shady towards her. I'm saying, why would you plan to do something that you didn't plan to do? And it's not just with this situation, it's in life. If you're not making a plan, then plan to fail. That's the way I see it. And I don't want to see y'all fail.
they're only suing me for $700. That's all they want.
It's not bad.
Which I have in my account. But I'm going to try and see if I can get it down just for my $350 limit.
You know what? I'm not even mad about her trying to talk him down, because it's like, you can sue it anyway, but also she could just pay it off. She has the money. And that goes to show exactly what I'm talking about. If she had a plan to actually pay off what she's being sued for, it would have been done, because she has the money. The thing is, there was no plan. That money was going to go to something else that she was thinking about, And let's be honest, what are we typically thinking about? Stuff we want, maybe necessities, understandable, maybe some makeup. Maybe she ain't spending much on makeup, but I know how some of y'all is with Sephora.
So I'm home, just chilling this morning, drinking my coffee.
Right.
All of a sudden, I get a knock on the door, and it's a sheriff from the courthouse that came here to serve me some paperwork because Credit One suing me
Right.
for an old debt from 2021. Who would have thought that credit cards are suing people now for an old debt? That's never happened before, to me, at least. And I literally got served, and they're telling me I have 30 days to get in contact with them and try to make an arrangement.
I'm so confused. So being sued by a credit card company is a new concept? And then my other question is I wonder, is that the reason why some people didn't pay? Just because you knew that you weren't going to get sued or you weren't going to be held accountable. It's just oh, well, they wasn't doing that before. So what is y'all doing? Y'all acting brand new. You see what I'm saying? And my logic, the way my brain goes, is hey, if I borrow money for a credit card or a loan, I'm on the hook. Whether I think it's right or not, if I should pay or not, I'm on the hook. So at least that's in my head. I think for many of y'all don't really think you're on the hook or any sort of action will be taken. And you're opening these credit cards not knowing that there is going to be consequences if you don't pay. And I know a lot of y'all don't care about your credit score and stuff like that. You're probably I'm not going to get no house anyway. Look around. Interest rates high, house prices high. What I'm going to do with a credit score? So you go get a credit card and you just what's the worst that can happen? Y'all, please don't be out there with that mindset. They will sue you. Whether you thought that was going to happen or not, it's happening. You have been sued 30 days.
Now, let me know who's that happened, who has that happened to, or who's ever heard of that, because this is the first time I ever hear about a credit card company suing anyone.
Girl, this whole video, we've been lining them up. And I don't say that because I'm proud. I think a lot of y'all might be thinking you're a special case. You're not. And everybody doesn't make TikToks about the fact that they're being sued. Some people probably I don't want nothing used against me in court, because it can happen.
Especially from 2021.
Girl, it's 2025. People are getting sued from stuff that happened 10 years ago. Lord, I hope this video gets out to as many people as possible, because people clearly don't understand the severity of credit cards. This is not a game, y'all.
Never in my life heard of it. I had 2 credit cards with them. I was paying it, got behind, and now all of a sudden I get this.
Yeah, they want their money. Are we shocked? I'm a little confused, because she's I got behind. I stopped paying. Now you want your money. Y'all ain't suing everybody else, are you?
They sold this to another company. It's a third-party company that's suing me.
Right.
So you guys let me know your opinions, your comments. What do you think? What should I do?
think you should put the cards down and pay them folks and understand that this definitely can happen again. Make an emergency fund if you can. If you can, call the credit card companies, try to work something out with them. Settle with whoever the third party people is. I don't know. Get them folks off your back.
This is weird. Very weird. I am going to get in contact with them, but I don't know what to do. I'm kind of confused about this because it caught me off guard. I was like, what? Even the sheriff was laughing. He didn't even... I was like, the pettiness, you know? The pettiness. Like, he drove all the way here, served me these papers. He was laughing about it. Like, what?
I'm appalled that she's like, the sheriff served me. Girl, that's what they do. The other lady was over there ducking and dodging the folks. You know what? This is very educational because this is really showing what happened. You will get served by somebody. It might be your sheriff. Yes. So keep that in mind for your situational awareness so you're not confused. And I know that may be shocking, but one thing that shouldn't be shocking, in my opinion, is the fact that you open a credit card and you're supposed to pay them folks back. Why are we shocked about what they doing because you didn't do something? You agreed to the terms and conditions. It ain't that the cards don't just get open for no reason.
Discover does not play when it comes to the money that is owed to them.
Clearly, Discover has been on the roll. Them and what, Capital One?
So Discover kind of just skips the whole collection agency process in general and just goes directly through the courts. And if they're going through the courts, there's going to be a lot of additional fees such as court fees, attorney fees, and all these other interest fees that you're going to get on top of the debt. So my suggestion is to always work it out with them. A lot of times people can negotiate those debts for even 50% or less. I have personally seen people negotiate their Discover debts to a significantly lower amount. So it's very important that you get on top of it because if you don't, they will definitely come for you. So if you have a debt with Discover and you've been delinquent with that debt, I highly suggest contacting them because they will get their money. If you do not respond to your summons or show up to your court date, then they are going to garnish your wages and they legally can do that.
Look, we already seen the other girls get her wages garnished. Everything she's saying in this video, we have seen real life example. This is why I said in the beginning of this video, I know a lot of y'all need to be made believers. You need to see for yourself. Let this be all that you need to know, all that you need to see, in hopes that you don't end up as one of these people getting served. If you know somebody that's bad with credit card debt, send them this video. These are the possibilities.
Definitely work it out with them before that takes an effect.
So I'm getting sued today. Guess what? And it's a creditor. And it's something that I forgot about and didn't pay. So guess what? Let's talk about it. Here's the paperwork. But anyways, let's see who it's from. LVNV Funding. I love these guys. They're so moronic. And so today is just the, summons date. And so we're going to go ahead and head out there. And this whole thing is just to teach you guys that don't be scared of these people. They're just idiots. They're morons. They're people. They're humans. Don't be scared. Go to the court date. What is in the harm of going to the court date? Ask for the discovery. Ask for them to show that they actually own it. Ask that they to show that they actually bought it. They'll never have it. So then you ask for a dismissal. So anyways, in about 30 minutes, we'll be heading off to go to court. I'm going to bring my youngest with me.
Hold on. Now, he might be on to something. Let me see.
And I told them they had lack of standing. And the lady said, cool. We'll see you during trial. So yeah, it's that simple, you guys. Just show up. That's all you have to do. They might do some mediation with you right there on the spot. Or you could talk to the judge and just say, hey, listen, I see their lack of standing. Lack of standing is like, basically they don't have enough proof to say that they own this and that you owe it. And so at the back of the original summons, there's a copy of the bill. And I'm like, ma'am, who do I owe here? Credit One or do I owe you? And she says, well, you owe LVNV. I said, well, that's why are they sending me a copy of my bill? I said, that just sounds like they don't have enough evidence to push this through to make it stand. And she goes, well, that's something that we'll let the court decide. And I said, cool. So I'll just side on the lack of standing and let's go ahead and set this for a trial. They will have to provide all their evidence, which then I can build my case off their evidence. And so, hey, I may lose this. I don't know. I'm just having fun because I think this is great. Whoop-de-doo. Yes, I may owe the money. I don't know, but we're going to find out.
I hope it works out well for him. And he's well within his rights to fight for his money, or their money. I don't know who money it is at this point. I guess the court got to decide who need to pay who. And I need to know down below, are you worried about being sued by a credit card company? Have you ever been sued? And if so, what year? Because a lot of people are acting like this is a new concept. I need the social proof in the comments. But I know one thing. We got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.